Hi, people, it's Jonathan, and it's still the morning show right here. Right, anyways, it's much in our continuation of giving you more information and letting you understand a whole lot that will better the lots of the Deltans and Nigerian. We'll be having a lovely interview, and definitely we'll be having the members of the PIA Trust, that's the Petroleum Industry Act Trust Fund host community, helping us to really address some basic issues that it concerns to them. And I would truly would love us to truly start this now. And I really indulge you to stay around in the next half an hour or so. And you'll be getting basic information as it concerns that. And indeed, we also would open up the lines later for you to also be a part of it. So in case any question that you need to ask as it concerns the PIA, well, anyways, you might just be in the right place to really get all of that. And let me just quickly to bring these to you. And we have someone here that will be helping out with this discussion today and to truly help to understand. And well, it's definitely coming from the Community Development Advocacy Foundation. And I'm talking of Mr. Loho Fred. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning to you and good morning to all listeners out there.
Well, anyways, it's always right if we start from the basics. And many will say, yes, the PIA has come to stay. And as much as it's come to stay, the 3% is basically what the host communities are all about. But before we really do into or delve into it in all, what is the PIA and what is it all about for those that are just beginning to hear for the first time and would really want to get more information as it concerns that?
Okay, thank you very much. But first of all, let me put some things in a proper perspective.
Oh, please do so.
Yeah, so the program is the sensitization program on host community aspect of the PIA.
Okay.
My name, of course, as you have mentioned, is Loho Fred. I'm a board member of CODAF, Community Development Advocacy Foundation.
Yeah.
And the sponsor of this program is called BudgIT.
Okay, BudgIT.
Yes, of course, BudgIT is a household name.
Of course.
Indeed, yeah. So the PIA actually is an actor. It's an act of the National Assembly, which proposes what should be done in the regulation of the petroleum industry in the entire country.
Yes.
In Section 1, Chapter 1 and Section 1 of that particular act, it says that the property and ownership of petroleum within Nigeria and its territorial waters, continental shelf and exclusive economic zones are vested in the government of the Federation of Nigeria.
Okay.
Now, the petroleum, the host community, the host community trust of the petroleum aspect, which is Chapter 3 of that particular act, actually detail what is to be expected in every community.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis the role of the oil companies, and then the Nigerian state.
Okay, so that's the three parties.
Exactly. Why one, the commission or agency of government that is saddled with the responsibility of managing the PIA regulates the act of the oil company. Okay. The oil company, in consultation with the communities, set out the things to be done. But of course, like I said, managed or supervised by the agency.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful breakdown of it. Now, what are the general objectives of the PIA? Let's try to understand that. Yeah. Reminding you've given us a full knowledge of its existence and what it entails. But let's get a quick general objective of the PIA itself.
Okay, the general objective. Now, we are not talking about the host community trust itself.
So the general objective, the PIA itself.
Of course, there are 5 major objectives that the PIA actually set out. The first one is to create efficient and effective institutions with clear and separate rules for the petroleum industry. Separate rule, underlined, because I mentioned, of course, the commission, which is at the national level, the oil company, and the community. So they have their separate rules in ensuring that oil petroleum activities in the country are well managed, efficiently, creditably, and of course, for profit-oriented purposes. Now, the second one is establish a framework for the creation of commercially oriented and profit-driven national petroleum company. The third is to promote transparency, good governance, and accountability in the administration of petroleum resources in Nigeria. Fourth is foster a business environment conducive for petroleum operation in Nigeria. And the last one, deepen local content practice in Nigeria oil and gas company. Of course, the last one actually spoke about how Nigerians must participate actively and provide services wherever it is needed within the oil industry before, that is, Nigerians must be considered first before looking outside. So in the same vein, if you have a community A, which is an oil-bearing community, it goes to also say that within that community, if the oil company has need, for example, to get a caterer, first the community has to be. Exactly. It is only when the community is unable to provide that it looks outside that community for any other service.
So it's a part of the PIA.
Of course, yes.
And beneficial to the community.
Of course, yes.
Wow. Yes. Okay, now, what is the host community trust according to the PIA? Because we've been hearing the host community trust, Let's try and really understand that for the well knowledge of our listeners.
The host community trust, as the word trust means that someone has been appointed to actually act on behalf of the community. So the host community trust is a body set up by the PIA, managed by the oil company on behalf of the community. So the trust is actually to say, okay, generally speaking, the community has needs A, B, C, D, and so forth. So the trust is which is be funded by a particular percentage of the oil company will, at the end of the day, look at those projects that the community actually needs and say, okay, which one is more important to you right now, the prioritization of all these things. So the trust is there to actually handle those areas of the projects of the company. So they will, working with the community itself, provide those sustainable development within the company, within the community.
But who makes up the trust? What are the persons that make up the trust?
The PIA establishes that the oil company, all right, will do everything which is in power to actually put the trust in place. But the members of the trust must be found within the oil company, within the host communities. They must come from the host community. So they cannot go outside the host community to get any other better to be in the trust. In the trust, there will be what you call trustees, board of trustees, whose responsibility will be to guide whatever it is that the trust does. And so there's also a part of the PIA that says that such a trust, such a board of trustee must, at any point in time, when it has been set up by the oil company, apply to the corporate CAC, to actually register it as a corporate entity. Wow. Separate from the community and separate from the oil company.
So all is a guideline to show that the activities are genuine and for the benefit of the host community.
Of course.
Okay, well, anyway, as much as you've said that, I want us to still deep in this discussion. Yes, host community trust. Now, is the host community trust you said will be incorporated and by the sea?
I'm sure that has been done by the oil.
Okay, that's good. Now, for the benefit of listeners, our oil-bearing communities, is there any difference between the host community trust and the host community trust fund as provided for in the PIA?
The host community trust in itself is a body established by the PIA, which I think oil companies by this moment would have actually registered at the CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, so that is a structure. It's a structure for the management of the community aspect of the PIA. The trust fund, the fund here is the percentage that the company, the operational company, is operational percentage of the oil company, which is 3%, that must be paid by the oil company into the accounts of the community trust. So it is these monies that the community trust will now uses to provide sustainable amenities in the community. So these are the two things.
So it's just on the mining, it sounds to be one, but really being managed in two different ways for all about being sincere and also for accountability. Well, nice to know that. Now, for operations in shallow waters and deep offshore, who and how are the host community determined?
Okay, so there are two aspects to it here. We have in the shallow waters or deep offshore. It's the PIA states that it is a responsibility of what they call settler or the oil company to determine who is a host community. Based on the fact that if for example, there is oil spillage anywhere,
Yeah.
you
It
cannot,
will have- yeah,
it will
yeah,
affect
yeah,
everyone. So the entire littoral communities within that area, most probably will become the host community. Unlike in the upland here, where you know
a basic one, you know, now you are in this community, and so you should also do that. Okay. Now, in case you're listening to us, and we're still having that discussion, sponsored by Community Development Advocacy Foundation, and giving us a quick and total breakdown of the basic as it concerns the PIA and the issue of the HostCom trust, and also talking about the form. Now, you mentioned earlier the incorporation of the host community trust with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, can you give us a clearer picture of the processes of procedures in registering that trust?
Okay. The procedures, first and foremost, is that the oil company in charge of the particular, mining lease set up the structure, what we call the host community structure.
Okay.
Then it goes further to nominate members.
Goes further to nominate.
Yes, in consultation with the host community, members of the board of trustees.
Okay.
Then it is now the responsibility of the board of trustees to apply to the Corporate Affairs Commission for registration of the body, which is now independent of both parties. Now, having done that, the oil company also engages with the community to determine, to do what you call need assessment of the community. Now, that need assessment determines that the community comes forth with the
various needs
that they have. So based on these things, prioritization of the list comes into play. And then once that is done, and funds are made available by the oil company into the host community trust fund, then the trustees, the board of trustees, goes ahead to start implementation of the project, not without consulting with the communities. So that's the processes. First, the oil company set up this. Secondly, they go into the communities, host communities, to nominate members of the community for appointment as board of trustees, registration at the CAC, and then the business of the host community trust begins.
Okay. Now the incorporation of the host community trust is only a means to an end. Now, run us through the processes to be taken between the host community trust, the oil company, and the communities themselves for a project to be executed in their community.
Okay, partly of that I have just mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. So
determining which comes first, all of those processes and the rest.
So
according to priority.
So the community also does what you call they do that aspect of it. Of course, they should have what they want to do.
Of course.
Based on the list, there has to be a plan.
Yeah.
Projects that is, I have ABCD stuff that
maybe
I need to do.
Primary school, health center. Yes.
Of course. So these all come to play. They look at all of this in conjunction with the oil company and the host community, the host trust, community host trust. So these are with all this behind them, they come to say, okay, this is what we bet. When a project is finally agreed on to be executed, part of the PIA also suggests that the community also determines, or at least nominate, a particular contractor or list of contractors who should handle the project. Which, like I said, which the what is it called, the local content policy
comes into being.
It should be from the community. First and foremost, it's only when the expertise is lacking in that area that it can't go to any other place.
So in all of these, the HostCom seems to be the one profiting from all of it. That's the community.
Yes.
In project siting, in who does the project and all of that.
Yes. It's the entire chapter 3 of the PIA. Try to move away from what had been before.
Okay.
Where you find a community that is oil bearing, then due to some whatever it is the oil company does, anybody can come. You have even foreigners coming to do execute projects, and then the people are left with nothing. So the PIA try to remedy that to ensure that first and foremost we must get somebody from the community to do that particular aspect of the project. It's only when it is not there that
To think of sourcing it out. Yeah.
Exactly.
And in all of this, it also brings to bear what the community needs, rather than a company or oil company citing a project that might not be beneficial to the community at that very moment.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. It has to be demand oriented.
Demand oriented
and not supply oriented. That's we find that in our communities, in the political arena, where somebody sits in the headquarters of the local government state and decides, okay, we are going to affect the community. We want to go and put borehole.
But do they need it?
The question is that what they need? Because if you go to that same community, nearly all the oil-bearing communities, you find that there are multiplication of borehole. Some of them works for just a month, 2 months, and they are abandoned. Meanwhile, you are going there to put another borehole. Why not think that community, for example, require toilet in the primary school, or public toilets in the entire community, or even health center for that matter. So this part of the PIA decide to say, okay, it should be demand oriented. Let the community decide what they want, and not us deciding, thinking that this is what they want.
That should be basics.
Of course.
Well, anyways, in case you're listening to us, we'll now open up the lines so we can also get questions thrown and to try to really deepen the understanding of the PIA and as it concerns the community or trust fund and also the HostCom trust. And anyways, we've not changed our number. It still remains 08022931931. As much as you can also reach us right here on 081-888-88931. With those two numbers, you'll be asking questions directly to Mr. Fred. He's also of the Community Development Advocacy Foundation, bringing this to you guys all in the need to deepen your understanding of the PIA also, so you understand where you tend to benefit from it. But before we get the calls coming, I'm a bit curious and looking at it. Now, you made mention of transparency when it comes to HostCom taking the first stand, irrespective of whether it's contract to be or whatever. But let's also look at the issue of accountability as it concerns the fund also. And can there be periodic assessment of how these funds are being spent and that knowledge going to the community themselves?
The first and foremost,
yes,
the PIA says that the agency or commission vested with the management of the PIA has responsibility, oversight responsibility on the management of the host trust fund.
Okay,
that's one.
Okay,
the oil company. I mean, it goes without saying that they will want to ensure that there are no issues, crises.
To let their business go.
So
well.
It's up to them. They have to make sure they play the game clean.
Yeah.
Because the fund itself, which I said was 3%, is broken down.
Yeah.
75% of that amount goes for projects within the community.
Of course.
20% of that particular amount is to be invested by the host community trust fund to be invested. Yeah. From which they must have what we call fund managers. And 5%. It is only 5% of that amount that goes for administration.
Yeah. Yeah. So the running of
the entire stuff. So there's also a provision of the PIA that says there's a bi-yearly, 6 monthly, financial to the entire people. So all the communities in that particular cluster are expected to know how much they have
at every given time.
What is going for what,
and how much the project costs, and all of that.
So it's supposed to be an open business for everyone to see. So there's not supposed to be any kind of shady business when it comes to that.
But anyway, well said, and also well deepened. Especially, I know some persons will be like, "Oh, wow, okay, well, this kind of different from what we used to know." That sometimes you might not really know. Apart from the project coming, one, you don't need it, but you don't even know how much is there for your usage and all of that. Exactly. Now, let's also look at the issue of getting the host community for them to also have a say in who the contractor would be, or who will definitely execute the project for them. And let's look at it in different ways. Now, let's look at it as it concerns getting that required man skill. We do know some communities lack it. And like you said, they will be number one priority in picking. But in all of that, should the variability of the project not come first, irrespective of whether it's coming from somebody from the host community, it's coming from wherever?
Of course, it does.
Should that not be top priority?
Of course it is. The project must be viable. If it is not viable, so why are you going to the...
Because we see some communities, they, irrespective of whether the contractor can or cannot, they want it to be the one managing it.
Yes,
and sometimes it affects
we cannot stop certain persons from being what they are.
No, you can't.
But what matters is the totality of the populace. Do you accept it?
Yeah.
If your community, the leadership of the community says, okay, we are building 10 boreholes, for example, and we have a multiplication of boreholes in the community, and the members of the community, the larger community, says nothing about it, then we cannot help them. The idea is this: the community, those in the leadership cadre, are only representing
the people in general.
So whatever they do, they are expected to report back to the community, the general populace. The general population are supposed to know what is going on at any point in time. So we expect that when the leadership cadre is handling something, a project, the community should have, first and foremost, say, we need this before it can be done. So we expect that if the community is going to install 10 boreholes, when there has been a lot that has failed in the past, and it is allowed to go on, it means
it's their business.
Yeah,
it is.
That's it.
Well, anyways, because of time, I doubt if we still have more time to talk about this. I don't know. It's always an interactive one, especially with understanding that when it comes to things that would deepen the progress of every community, it's always right to talk about it. And that's why we're still having this. And like I said, it's a CODAF Community Development Advocacy Foundation that is having this discussion to deepen your understanding of the PIA. We seem to have a caller already, and let's see if we go there and take the calls. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Macri.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please go right ahead.
My name is Roger. I'm calling from Willie.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Please, there is something that can we define good community?
Okay.
What is good community?
Okay.
I want the resource person to define good community so that we can get the picture clearer.
Okay. If I get it very well.
Yeah, it seems I understand what he means. Go ahead.
We should define
host community, so we'll know who they are, especially as it concerns this.
Okay. So the host community is that community which has oil installation sited in its community.
Okay.
A host community is that community that plays host to a section of a pipeline that runs across its community. Okay. Basically, on the upland, these are the criteria upon which you can say a community is a host community. You say that you have an oil wellhead, you have a flow station, a gas flaring oil pipeline generally passing through your community. You are qualified to be a host community. That's on the upland. But in the riverine community, the fact that your community is within an area prone to oil, whatever, the company running that particular oil mining lease will likely pick you as a member, as one of the host communities. Remember, in that area, the discretion is given to the oil company to determine who becomes the host community or not. But in the upland, once you have a facility within your community,
automatically makes you host community.
That's it.
Wow. Well, anyways, I doubt time is not a friend. We need to go now. But I'll truly thank you so much for this discussion, or rather, would I call it discussion or knowledge, as deepens the issue of the PIA, and also as it concerns the trust fund, and also as it concerns the host community and how they can also gain from it. And I'm talking of Mr. Loho Fred. Oh, thank God I got that right. Yes. Thank you so much for your time with us. Anyways, we need to say as much as you need more questions to ask, send those questions via SMS to us, and he will be definitely here.
Again, we have two more sections.
Yes. So don't bother yourself. Send those questions. We'll have them here. And when he comes, we'll definitely direct them to him. And you'll be getting all the required information as concerns the PIA. But all the same, thank you for your time with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, anyways, the fun still continues. It's still the weekend right here on Quest. And the news will come around 11. As much as you know, it's a weekend and the starter is just getting beginning. Yep.
Okay, this morning,